Knicks fans, welcome into Knicks Nation live stream. Your New York Knicks do not have a head coach. It is June 4th, and we have a lot of news to get to tonight. A lot of stuff has come out today. Tom Thibodeau was fired yesterday, and we already have 24 hours later a lot of stuff to talk about, a lot of stuff to get to, a lot of interesting nuggets that I wanted to get to you guys. And yeah, the coaching search heats up. Right? Coaching search heats up. Appreciate you guys in the chat. Subscribe, like, all the good stuff. Wait for more of you guys to come in. How you guys doing? You guys doing good? Hope you guys had a good day. Smooth, safe. And here we are, talking Knicks again. Appreciate you guys over on TikTok. Look, the New York Knicks have officially entered one of the most important off seasons in franchise history. And I don't want to be dramatic, but I really do think it's one of their most important off seasons in a while. And it starts with one major decision, and that is hiring their next head coach. Look, Tom Thibodeau is out. And now all eyes are on Leon Rose and the front office. Will they go with a familiar face, Johnny Bryant? Will they swing big for someone like Ime Udoka, Jason Kidd, or Dan Hurley, fresh off back-to-back national titles recently, to make the jump from college to Madison Square Garden? I personally don't think they go that route, me personally. But you never know, right? You never know. We've seen crazy things happen. I mean, we saw our head coach get fired after the Eastern Conference Finals appearance. And look, the coaching search is already heating up, and today we're breaking down, the top candidates and everything for you guys and how it shapes the Knicks' future. I got a lot of good stuff for you guys. I will go down a list. I got Jay Wright news. I got a Johnny Bryant update. I got an Ime Udoka update. I got a Dan Hurley update. I got a Jason Kidd update. Right? So everything is fresh. Everything is new. But here we are. Eddie. What's going on, Eddie? Ooh, make this bigger. What's going on, Eddie? What's up? What's up, members? Loud and clear. What's going on? Appreciate you in the chat. I see you guys in the chat. Appreciate every single one of you guys in the chat. Big Task, Dis Rover, Yuri, Baga. Give Mark Jackson a chance. Dis Rover says, Ant, whatever you do, do not show the team partying hours before Thibs got fired. Big Task says Dan Hurley stated that he is not leaving UConn. Yes. Chris says Jeff Van Gundy. Isaiah says, what's good, Ant? I feel very great about this team's future. Go Knicks. What's going on, everybody? I see everyone in the chat. Thank you again for supporting. Thank you for the support. Thanks for the support on TikTok as well. I see you, Mincha. I see you. All right, so here we go. Right, first update. Let's get to Jay Wright. So a lot of news has come out today, ladies and gentlemen. What I'm going to do is, ultimately share my screen with you guys first and foremost. So let's get to some Jay Wright news. And this is from Stefan Bondy. Report, Ime Udoka and Jay Wright are both out as options to be the next New York Knicks head coach, from Stefan Bondy. Stefan Bondy is a really respected reporter that covers the New York Knicks and has been covering the New York Knicks for many, many years. So he is claiming that Ime Udoka and Jay Wright are both out. Jay Wright has already been, saying that he doesn't want the job. You have that video floating around that if there was a job for him to take, it would be the Knicks job. But according to Bondi, he says, look, Ime Udoka, I would put at the top of my list. I would put Ime Udoka at the top of my list, but it is going to cost you some picks. It is going to cost you, money. Houston's not just going to give this guy up to you. You're going to have to intrigue them with a package for them to even think about it, right? They're saying that he is off limits. They're saying that, as of right now, we're focused on the future. Everyone has a price. If you go to Houston and you present them with a package, I'm sure they can dabble in it. But according to Stefan Bondi, Ime Udoka and Jay Wright are both out as options to be the next Knicks head coach. So wishful thinking. I personally, again, Ime Udoka, if he was a free agent, that's target number one for me. I know he had some issues in Boston, but he took that team to a finals. Very smart guy, man. I mean, this genius basketball mind. You see what he's doing in Houston. Love Ime Udoka, but unfortunately, it looks like him and Jay Wright are out. So no Villanova connections. Jay Wright's gone. He's gone. Big Taz says, why am I hearing Jeff Van Gundy everywhere? Yeah, I mean, every time the Knicks have a head coach vacancy or think about firing Tom Thibodeau, you always hear of Jeff Van Gundy. Neil says, bring Dante back in the chat. But yeah, this is the update regarding Jay Wright and Ime Udoka. So apparently they are no longer on the wish list. They took their name out. Now, let's move on to Johnny Bryant. Let's move on to some Johnny Bryant news, ladies and gentlemen. Johnny Bryant is also a hot name for many Knicks fans. He has been an assistant coach for the organization. He is a very smart dude. Developmental coach. Obviously, we saw what he did with Emmanuel Quickly, JB. I mean, Donovan Mitchell loves him. Very smart developmental coach in terms of point guards. Has already been here. Knows what it takes to win in New York. But the latest update on Johnny Bryant, this is from Ari_report. And before you guys are like, who the hell is this? I did some research, and apparently he, has gotten a lot of stuff right regarding the Cleveland Cavaliers news. So he tweets, this is at 6:06 p.m., 3 hours ago. Quote, it is highly unlikely the New York Knicks will hire Cavs assistant coach Johnny Bryant as their next head coach following the dismissal of Tom Thibodeau, league sources tell me. So whether or not this Rover says I question the validity of the tweet, I'm not going to, argue with you. But like I said, this guy has tweeted a lot of Cleveland Cavaliers news in the past, and his track record is his track record is really good. Once again, I did my, digging, and apparently the comments down below, he doesn't really have that many followers. Look, believe who you want, but this is like a little small update I wanted to get to you guys. I still do think Johnny Bryant, to me, would be, at the top of my list. So, validity. Everyone on TikTok is correcting me. Validity. Sorry, guys. It's been a long day. It has been a long day, ladies and gentlemen. Obviously, I've been trying to get some research for you guys and bring this to you. It's been a long day, but here we are. So yeah, Johnny Bryant. Johnny Bryant to me would be at the top of my list. And, obviously the names are just keep on piling up. But that is the Johnny Bryant update. Wayne says, makes sense. He's got relationships here already, but I like Jason Kidd. Butch Brown says Udoka would have a celebrity female showing up like LL Cool J. Oh, man, Ime Udoka to me would be, target number one. But it's looking like Houston is sticking with Ime Udoka, and he is not going to be the next Knicks head coach. And here we go. So that is the little Johnny Bryant update. Again, take it with a grain of salt. Again, the Phoenix Suns job today was filled by, another Cleveland assistant coach. So a lot of people thought that, since the Phoenix Suns job was filled today, automatically that leaves Johnny Bryant. Hey, Johnny Bryant, just come to the Knicks. I'm sure they're going to interview Johnny Bryant, right? I'm sure they're going to interview Johnny Bryant, but that is the update on Johnny Bryant. And let me give you guys another Ime Udoka update other than Stefan Bondi. So Ime Udoka seems like it's a no-go, guys. This is from Kelly Iko or Kelly Iko. I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing his name, but he works for The Athletic, I believe, and he works for Houston. Like, he covers the Houston Rockets. So he says, regarding reports identifying Ime Udoka as a possible target for the vacant Knicks head coaching position, Houston has no interest in entertaining that, a team source told The Athletic. Both parties are committed to the long-term project and are actively preparing for busy offseason. So it's looking like Ime Udoka, thumbs down. Jay Wright, thumbs down. Right? Johnny Bryant, still iffy on that. Don't really know. Still don't really know. So. All right, now let's get to Dan Hurley. So Dan Hurley, head coach of UConn, back-to-back national championships. Dan Hurley, the college head coach. A lot of people are connecting the dots. He was very highly, touted by the Los Angeles Lakers last summer. And they wind up going with J.J. Redick as their head coach. Dan Hurley gets offered a ton of money, essentially turns it down, and stays the UConn Huskies head coach. So we have an update regarding that, and let me get that to you guys right now. Whoa. I just went ghost for a second. Johnny Bryant. I see a lot of Johnny Bryant in the chat. Okay, here's the update regarding Dan Hurley. Quote, not another summer of that, end quote. So that takes Dan Hurley's name off the list. He says, not another summer of that. I'm not doing that again. Even though MSG is pretty much in his backyard, he didn't want to uproot his family to Los Angeles, but he wanted to stay coaching the UConn. And look, he says not another summer of that. So you can cross his name off the list. So all of these candidates you're seeing in the last 24 hours, you're seeing them. Some of them start to get weeded out, and it's starting to come down to either someone we are not foreseeing being the next head coach. It could be Johnny Bryant, or it could be somebody who I saved the best for last, which I'm starting to actually fall in love with. Appreciate you guys in the chat once again. Smash the like button, subscribe, all the good stuff. I see you guys in here. Just giving you guys an update regarding the New York Knicks head coaching search. Decided to come on here and, give you guys all these tidbits and, whether or not you want to believe this stuff. But this is real. Like, Dan Hurley was quoted saying, not another summer of that. Jay Wright, gone. Ime Udoka, no longer on the list. Right? Johnny Bryant, it seems like, whether you want to believe that source or not, it seems like he is not a candidate for the next Knicks head coaching job. Somebody says steal Spo from Miami. I would love to steal Spoelstra from Miami. Somebody says Doc Rivers. Heck no. Heck no. Yuri with the super chat. Leon is keeping this very close to the chest. He is not revealing his hand. The media was very pissed off that we fired Thibs. They are mad They didn't have the story. Leon is a businessman, and I love that. Yeah, look, Knicks fans have been going through the waves in the last 24 hours, the media wave, everyone talking negative about Leon Rose, and you're starting to hear little tidbits come out regarding that, about how Tom Thibodeau and Worldwide Wesley, you know, they had a power struggle, and ultimately William Wesley won that power struggle. And apparently, from Michael K., the only way Tom Thibodeau would have been safe is if he reached the NBA Finals. So they already had it in their mind that they were firing him. You can't fire him if you reach the NBA Finals and you have all this success. And look, I say all this and you reach the Eastern Conference Finals, define what success is in your mind. But it just goes to show you that a lot of stuff behind the scenes really starting to boil over, and he's gone. He's gone. Big Taz says, who said Doc Rivers? The people on TikTok said Doc Rivers, Big Taz. Crime Zed says Rajon Rondo from Milwaukee. Rajon Rondo is another sneaky name. I believe Jay Williams brought him up today. And again, do you want, we'll get to Jason Kidd, because I saved the best for last, by the way. Do you want someone that doesn't have head coaching experience? Or do you want someone that has been there, done that, an experienced head coach, knows how to command a locker room, and knows how to handle New York? I go back and forth with this. It seems like the hot new thing in today's NBA is to hire like the new assistant coach that really no one has heard of, like the third guy. And essentially it's like the offensive coordinator in football, right? You see all these hires on the offensive side of the ball becoming head coaches because these guys are geniuses. And look, some of them work out, some don't. But I think this job in particular is, it's a big job, man. The pressure's on, whether you like it or not. The pressure's on. You know, the media already doesn't like your decision. You fired Tom Thibodeau. This next head coaching job, no matter if you guys like it or not, next year, they're going to judge how the new coach does, and they're going to compare it to Tom Thibodeau, what he did in bringing us to the Eastern Conference Finals for the first time in 25 seasons. I don't think that's fair. I have to see how it looks, but there is pressure here, right? There is pressure here in New York. So, yeah. El Figgy says someone threw out Sam Cassell. Yeah, Sam Cassell is currently on the Boston staff, I believe, right? Point guard. LV Live, what's going on? Appreciate you, LV Live, in the chat. Hope all is well. LV Live. Somebody said, Chris says, I feel like you need someone with experience. It could be wasted year if we bring someone inexperienced. Kind of risky. Loud and Clear says, nah, we need a guy with experience. All right, let's get to Jason Kidd. Jason Kidd, right? Let me just go back to sharing my screen, by the way. Jason Kidd is the head coach of the Dallas Mavericks. And the reason why I'm bringing him up is because his name has now popped up in the last 24 hours from multiple different sources. Multiple different sources. Ian Begley, Mark Stein, Steve Popper, highly respected guys. So, this is a quote from Steve Popper. The one name I keep hearing is Jason Kidd. Under contract in Dallas, but intriguing with the Knicks already importing much of the Mavs training staff and Jalen Brunson having already played for Kidd, as well as Kidd having played for the Knicks. The more I think of it, Anthony, appreciate you in the chat. The more I think of it, the more I'm actually starting to fall in love with the idea of Jason Kidd, and it makes sense. Somebody said Kidd is not leaving. Kidd is not leaving. Let me tell you why Kidd might leave, ladies and gentlemen. Wait, let me leave this up my screen. Leave this on my screen. So Jason Kidd has a strong relationship with Jalen Brunson, right? Brunson and Kidd, obviously, there's experience there from their time in Dallas. And Brunson has already publicly endorse Jason Kidd's leadership and his coaching style, I feel like that relationship can carry some serious weight in the Knicks' decision making. Number 2, Jason Kidd may be open to a fresh start. Kidd was reportedly blindsided by the Mavs trading Luka Doncic, if you guys don't remember. Remember after that trade, Jason Kidd and the Mavs, it was kind of like this little tension there that it started to come out in Dallas, and you started to see it so Jason Kidd and the Mavs front office, we don't know their relationship right now. We don't know that current situation. By the end of the season, I like things might have fell off in Dallas, right? Tension, inconsistency. So I feel like a clean slate in New York with the team as talented as the New York Knicks and has a superstar in Jalen Brunson, Cat, could be exactly what Jason Kidd is looking for currently, right? Number three, the Knicks and the Mavs, pretty good relationship. The Knicks and the Mavs. Nico Harrison, they've done business in years past. Porzingis trade, right? Reggie Bullock, if I don't remember. They've done business. They're very familiar with one another. There's mutual respect within the front offices, other than them tanking a couple of years ago and ruining our chances to be in the lottery, by the way. So if the Mavericks are ready to move in another direction, a smooth exit could be arranged, right? And obviously, Jason Kidd, playoff experience. The Knicks are entering a win now mode, and Kidd has a resume. I mean, he has a resume. Took the Mavs to an NBA Finals. Obviously, you have Luka Doncic there, star credibility, and he has a temperament to lead a veteran locker room with championship aspirations as well. So he has the respect of players. I think he can fit in New York. And he's a Hall of Fame point guard. Players listen to him, especially guards. So that is a name where I think is very intriguing. And that is a name in which I think you guys should be watching. And I don't know. It's starting to really, It's starting to really kind of like heat up that way. I'm kind of like feeling the Jason Kidd news cycle that we've been hearing over these last 10 hours or so. I'm starting to feel it. I would like Jason Kidd. I would. Low key, doesn't, he's very smart basketball mind. I mean, we knew him as a player. As a head coach in Dallas. You see the resume. Wayne says Kidd is very smart. I like him. LB Live says, I don't know if Dallas deals with the Knicks, especially after the tampering issue. Could be. Look, if Jason Kidd wants out, it could be a mutual parting of the ways, right? Again, you don't know how that situation ended in Dallas. Jason Kidd felt blindsided by the Luka trade. You saw him at the press conference. I mean, stone face. I mean, go look up Jason Kidd's face after the Luka Doncic press conference. He was like shocked. He was stunned. So that is a name. If you're getting these reports that Ime Udoka is out, Jay Wright is out, apparently Johnny Bryant is, still on the list, but somebody said he's out. Right? Who else am I missing that I said was out? Dan Hurley, gone. I mean, you start to Jason Kidd has been in multiple reports. Jason Kidd has said Jason Kidd is the name that I keep hearing. So Joe Skilfer says thumbs up for Kidd as our next Knicks head coach. Oh, somebody give a thumbs down for Jason Kidd. Somebody give a thumbs down for Jason Kidd. But yeah, so those are the updates. Again, Tom Thibodeau got fired yesterday. So in these last 24 hours, you've heard multiple different reports from respected reporters that, again, if you want to believe, it depends. You got to pick who you want to believe. But again, if I go down the list, appreciate every single one of you. Appreciate every single one of you guys just tuning in. If you guys are just tuning in, I'll just go briefly down it. Jason Kidd is a name to watch. So Steve Popper says the name I keep hearing is Jason Kidd. Under contract in Dallas, but intriguing with the Knicks already importing much of Mavs training staff and Jalen Brunson already having played for Jason Kidd. That's important, man. You want to keep your captain happy. Look, Jalen Brunson was a Tom Thibodeau supporter, right? You traded Dante DiVincenzo last year. You got rid of Jalen Brunson. I mean, you want to continue to keep your captain happy and engaged, right? So if the Knicks can get this Jason Kidd deal done, I don't know. I don't know if they can. I don't know what Dallas would want. I don't know what Dallas would want. What do you guys think Dallas would want? So, but again, this is the Jason Kidd news. This is the Dan Hurley news. Not another summer of that. So Dan Hurley is reportedly out. He's taken his name out the hat. Gone. This is from Kelly Iko regarding Ime Udoka. Apparently he's staying in Houston. So Ime Udoka out. This is from Ari/Underport. Again, I have no idea who this is, but apparently I've done some digging and it seems like he gets a lot of things correctly. He says it's highly unlikely the Knicks will hire Cavs assistant coach Johnny Bryant as their next head coach following the dismissal of Tom Thibodeau. Again, don't know who this is, but take it with a grain of salt. I just wanted to get this out here for you guys. I really don't read too much into that. I just want to get this information out there to you guys. This is from Stephen Bondi. Stephen Bondi is a respected reporter in Knicks land and has been covering the New York Knicks for many, many years. Even his father used to cover the Knicks. I believe his father used to cover the Knicks. He says Ime Udoka and Jay Wright out. So if you start to go down the list and you start to really wonder what direction does this Knicks team go in, right? Do you go with a rookie head coach? Do you go with someone we're not speaking about? Do you go with someone with experience? Like I said, opening up this show, this next decision is so important for this franchise, right? This is important summer, guys. It's a very important summer for this Knicks team. You just fired Tom Thibodeau, right? You just fired him. Tons of success. You feel like you reached a ceiling with him. You feel like you reached a ceiling with Tom Thibodeau. You feel like he couldn't get you to the promised land, which I agree with, by the way. He's gone. So I think you don't do that without knowing who else you have in mind. And I trust Leon Rose. One thing Leon Rose has shown us over these last few years is you have to trust him. He's given us no other reason to not trust him. So me personally, I am going to trust Leon Rose in making this next hire. And that's all we can do. So let's go. I'm excited though. Wayne says Knicks Nation endorses Jason Kidd. Call him up. And James says I still feel like Leon has his pick already. James, what's going on? Appreciate you in the chat, James. I always liked Sam Cassell going back to college, a crafty, a winner. Yes, Sam Cassell, point guard, extremely smart. HRM says, and Giannis likes Jason Kidd. Oh, man, the Giannis angle it would be so fascinating. But again, I don't think this Knicks front office does two major things in one offseason. I could be totally wrong, but you would change your coach and then you would kind of change the core a little bit. That is another major shift in the lineup. But we've seen crazier things happen in today's NBA. I am not putting anything past Leon Rose. I am not. One thing he has shown us is that he is not afraid to make a move. Dis Rover says, whatever Dallas wants, we won't be able to afford it, honestly. Lamar says first round picks. Dallas will want some first round picks. Marcel says first round picks at the minimum. A lot of comments to catch up on. Chris says we're going to end up with John Calipari. El Figure says we're all hypothetically thinking, but I bet Leon has already handpicked out a coach. He would have never let go of Thibs otherwise. El Figure, if he's handpicked out a coach, wouldn't you start to? Unless, look, it's been 24 hours, right? So I don't want to say that, but one thing to note is we're starting to see some names get taken out of the hat. Like, nope, he's not going to coach there. Nope. Jay Wright, nope. Ime Udoka, nope. He's not coming there. We're starting to see some guys getting pulled. And the one guy who hasn't gotten pulled, who his name has come up in the last 24 hours, has been Jason Kidd. Again, speculation, but here we are. It's fun to talk about these things. Anthony says Knicks need to sign Chris Paul. Tyler says, I believe Leon knows his top choice. MC Sports says, what do you think about Mark Jackson? I love Mark Jackson, but I think that because of what happened in Golden State, unfortunately, like they fired Mark Jackson and then brought in Steve Kerr, and Steve Kerr took them over the top. I think if you bring in Mark Jackson here, I don't know. Again, Mark Jackson's name keeps getting thrown around. Jeff Van Gundy's name keeps getting thrown around. Love these guys. But I just don't believe the Knicks go in that direction. I don't believe the Knicks go in that direction. So, Rent says Monkey Rent says Bryant is a Rose guy. Yeah, look, Johnny Bryant. I wouldn't mind Johnny Bryant. I wouldn't. You know, a lot of the media has caught on today. A lot of, the radio stations have caught on today regarding Johnny Bryant. I would not mind Johnny Bryant one bit. But on the other side of the ball is you are taking a risk in that, right? First year head coach. It'll kind of be like a lot of Knicks fans want Johnny Bryant. So it'll kind of be like a dopamine hit. Like, yeah, we got Johnny Bryant, but we really don't know. We really don't know until the season starts. I have full trust that Johnny Bryant can be a great head coach in this league, but we really don't know. So I wanted to get to this article that Sarah wrote on the Knicks Nation Media website, and she wrote some pros and cons regarding Jason Kidd. So the pros, I'm not sure if this is too small for you guys. I'll try to zoom it in. We try to zoom it in. Kidd has guided the Nets, Knicks, Nets. I said Nets and Knicks. You saw that. You heard that, right? I'm already putting him as the next Knicks head coach. Nets, Bucks, and Mavericks to playoff appearances. I can't talk tonight. I don't know what's going on. With the career 362 and 339 record. Luka Doncic praised him, freedom in his pick and roll stats. His connection to Jalen Brunson is notable. Having coached him in Dallas from 2021 to 2022, he also played for the Knicks in 2012, 2013. That won 54 games. The cons, because with every positive, there's a con, right? We got to talk about the cons with these guys. Kids' offensive schemes can become overly reliant on ball-dominant guards, often leading to stagnant possessions without a secondary creator. And during Giannis Antetokounmpo's early development years in Milwaukee, Kidd failed to win a single playoff series. Defensively, his Mavericks dropped to 22nd in rating earlier this season, but a midseason coordinator change helped steady the unit, bumping them slightly up to 18th by the end of the season. He's also under contract following a recent extension, making a move costly and complicated. So you're going to have to give some things to the Mavericks to get him. Again, I don't really take what happened this year too strongly because that Luka trade just really shocked like the whole NBA universe. So regarding his defensive, I think he's a great coach, guys. I really do think he's a great coach. I do. And I think the Jalen Brunson experience matters. I do. Smoking Mara says, sounds like another Thibs. If Leon Rose don't get this right, everybody is going to start with Leon Rose. What's going on, Keith? This Rover says, shout out to Sauer. Yes, shout out to Sauer. Excellent job writing articles over at the Knicks Nation media website. Cloven says, Johnny Bryant will be fine. Since he has experience as an assistant coach, the East is wide open, and they're the only two teams that can challenge us is the Cavs and the Fakers. The Fakers were better than us. Critical summer, guys. If you take a look at the East, if you take a look at the landscape, next season, a lot can change. You have the Giannis Antetokounmpo domino to fall. Kevin Durant is still up in the air. Who knows? And a lot of Knicks fans want Kevin Durant. A lot of Knicks fans don't want Kevin Durant. I've heard some crazy takes regarding Kevin Durant. If you trade Cat for Kevin Durant, it'll make the Knicks a title contender. I'm personally not doing that. I don't want to trade for a 37-year-old. I love Kevin Durant. But no Jason Tatum for the full season. The Cleveland Cavaliers, who knows what's going to happen with them. Boston Celtics going to blow it up. Indiana is still up there. I mean, you got to give them their credit now, right? The Magic are up and coming. You know, the Bucks, we don't know what they're doing with Giannis. So the Eastern Conference is right there for the Knicks. Right there for the Knicks, in my opinion. And if they get this hire right, and again, this hire is so important for this franchise. It is. You got to get this one right. You can't mess it up. You can't mess this one up. You can't. Dame is out for the Bucks as well. Yes, Tyler. Dame is out for the Bucks. So the East is wide open. So you got to get this right. And here we go. Here we go. Once again, appreciate every single one of you guys in here. Subscribe, like, smash the like button. Appreciate you guys giving me your time on this Wednesday evening. 24 hours after the New York Knicks have fired Tom Thibodeau. He is no longer the New York Knicks head coach. He's gone. He's gone. Keith says if Leon Rose is willing to go down with the Johnny Bryant ship, it's his funeral. Yeah. You can say that, man. You can say, like, Thibs and Leon Rose are extremely tight. And there's been rumblings that James Dolan got involved and William Wesley got involved. And I'm sure it was a collective effort. We've heard from Alan Hahn today that it was a collective effort. I'm sure just things got stale in that locker room. We heard the Mikal Bridges comments once he had those comments before the Portland game about playing the bench. It was a wrap. It was a wrap. And me personally, if you make the Tom Thibodeau firing, which you did, I just think that is an endorsement of this Knicks lineup. That is an endorsement of this current team. That just with a few tweaks and a new voice up in there, that they feel like this Knicks team can reach the promised land. And I do as well. I have faith that this summer they're going to go out there and make the right decisions. I do. Guys, we have a great team. Like, we have a great team. If you look at our team, like, it's like 2 wins away from the NBA Finals. With what the Knicks are calling by firing Tom Thibodeau, essentially putting that on him, which is a little bit unfair, but they made their decision that he was not the guy to take us to the promised land. He did not expand the bench during the season. We had the 3 seed locked up for the majority part of a month. He didn't try different lineups. He didn't. He didn't play the rookies. There was a night in, I think it was January, back to back. He didn't play the bench. And all of what I'm trying to say is all of this compiled to this moment. Here we are. I just think there was so much friction in that locker room, and that got to this point. And now we're searching for the next guy to bring us to the promised land. Ime Udoka, Johnny Bryant, Jason Kidd, Dan Hurley. Is there someone else? Is there someone else that I'm not talking about? Is there someone else that I'm not talking about? Jay Wright gone, apparently. Ime Udoka gone. Dan Hurley gone. We shall see. But this Jason Kidd news is extremely intriguing to me. So, El Figgy says, no KD. He ruined Brooklyn and not doing too much in Phoenix. HRM says it's probably going to be Jason Kidd. We'll see. We'll see. Knicks fans ain't drinking the Johnny Bryant Kool-Aid. If the Knicks trade Towns only for Giannis, not Durant. I've seen that a lot too, Wayne. You know, the Giannis domino is going to be a major domino to fall. It is. And you have a feeling that he's going to stay in the East. Because why go to the West? You know? Big Task says we just need to strengthen our bench. Mike Malone or Mark Jackson. Mike Malone has been taken out of the hat. Apparently, Stefan Bondi said Mike Malone, take his name off the list. Ime Udoka, take his name off the list. So, Mike Malone not being on the list, it's interesting because Mike Malone has won a championship. Now, again, Mike Malone is under the same ilk of a Tom Thibodeau. Doesn't really expand his rotation, sticks with his guys, but he has a ring. He has a ring, and he has blood in the ground, as Chris Canny once said. So Mike Malone is interesting, but apparently his name is off the list. Thibs 2.0 from Jimmy. Yeah, I just think, I don't think the Knicks are going to hire someone that they think they can control, because I don't think that's the direction they go. I just think it just got so stale with Thibs, man. And those player interviews, you know, a bunch of those players didn't like him. And a bunch of the top players obviously voiced their frustration. And I'm putting Mikal Bridges on top of the list. I'm putting Mikal Bridges on top of the list. You didn't like Thibs. You didn't like Thibs. Yuri, let's get to the super chat. Yuri, what's going on? Appreciate you again. Thank you again for all the support, Yuri. We know Leon Rose is keeping that coach close to his chest again. Media was pissed. I trust Leon to get the job done. We need a modern coach. If this Knicks front office, if this Knicks brass hires someone that we're not talking about, right? I've heard that the assistant coach in Minnesota, what's his name? From Alan Hahn today. That's apparently, I've heard Chris Finch's name today being thrown out. I've heard Chris Finch's name being thrown out because of Rosas's relationship with Minnesota. And I was like, Chris Finch, why would they get rid of him? It's like musical chairs out there, man. Jeff Van Gundy, Johnny Bryant. It's like musical chairs out there. Oh, man. Here we go, guys. Mike Brown. Teddy says Mike Brown. Yeah, Teddy, I've heard of Mike Brown. I've heard of a lot of people bring up Mike Brown. Let me make this a little bit smaller, but I just don't think this Knicks front office wants to go in that direction. You know, has failed a few times, has gotten fired. I just, like, me personally, that's not the direction I would go in. I wouldn't go in a Mike Brown direction. Again, I think he's a hell of a coach, but when you've, sometimes it's the right, sometimes it's the wrong situation, right? Sometimes, you know, it's just, I think he got the crappy end of the stick in Sacramento, but he's a hell of a coach. But I don't know. I just feel like it's someone, it's either Jason Kidd or it's, Johnny Bryant, or it's like someone we're not talking about, right? Someone we're not talking about. But again, the Jason Kidd is interesting. But the Knicks don't really have assets. Like, what would Dallas want? If it's a mutually, like, they have the #1 pick, right? They're going to get Cooper Flagg. They could start over. Jason Kidd was not happy there ever since they traded Luka Doncic. If it's mutually, like, agreed upon that, look, I don't want to be here no more, Dallas. I want to be coaching the Knicks. Maybe it's like a second-round pick and some money. I don't know. Maybe you can get that done. But his name intrigues me. Jason Kidd. So let's go, guys. Strap in. Strap in. El Figi says, let's get one of these coaches that Jokic had in Serbia that curses you out in front of your mom. One thing I've heard also is that once you start listening to players, that can get you in trouble. Once you start listening to the players, that can get you in a heap of trouble. But I think this situation was different. I think this was boiling over for some years, like a couple of years now. I think they gave Tom Thibodeau the extension as like a parting gift. Like, thank you for changing the franchise around. Thank you for coming in here and laying a foundation, you know, changing the culture. That $30 million that he's going to enjoy, that he probably doesn't even care about, because all he cares about is basketball, which is what I love about Thibs. But I just think that you had to reward him with that. But once you allow the players to, you know, kind of dictate things, and you want to hear your captain's input, that's important. You want to make him happy. But it can get a little bit dicey with that, regarding that, because sometimes players aren't always right. Like, players are the worst GMs, as they say, right? Somebody said Pablo Prigioni. Pablo Prigioni? I've heard that name sprinkled around today. Hit him up says, stop dreaming on kid. Man. Let me dream, hit him up. Let me dream, hit him up. Let me dream. Leon took care of his boy. He knew he was going to move on respectfully. Yeah, you had to give him the bag. You had to give him $30 million extension. He came in here, and I mean, I respect the hell out of Thibs. I was over him. I was on the train midway through the season, and here we are. We all have to take a step back, right? It's a lot of craziness in the media, right? I mean, a lot of negativity surrounding this team right now. But a lot of people say that everything's going to go downhill from here. Like, this is the end. Let's relax. Let's relax a little bit. The Knicks are a great team. You got Brunson. You got Cat, Mikal, OG. I mean, they're a good, really good team. Hart, we'll see what's going on with him. I just think with some tweaks to the bench, a new voice, let's go. Let's go. If there's a trade out there that they feel like can bring them over the top, it's been reported that the Knicks are going to have a big summer, and they want another star, apparently, reportedly. Don't know really what that means. But, I mean, you got the core, man. You got guys. One thing that we know in today's NBA is depth is king. So be careful. You don't want to trade like 2 or 3 guys for one guy again, and then and then you got no first round picks to replenish the guys you trade. You're just heavily reliant on a big 3, 4-ish that in today's NBA has proven you need depth, right? You need depth. You need an elite starting 5, and I think this Knicks team is right there. And with some savvy moves, a new voice, I honestly think next year could be our year again. But I just think, yeah, Wayne says there's too much Knicks haters out there. And look, some fans didn't like this. Some fans did not like the Tom Thibodeau firing. And I'm not going to argue with them. I'm not. Some fans didn't like the Tom Thibodeau firing. They thought it was way too premature. And, you know, if you're going under the reward system, I mean, he got you somewhere where you haven't gotten in 25 seasons. But it's done. It's done. You know, it's done. It's done. It's done. So here we are. So once again, if you guys are just joining me, I'm going to give you guys the information that came across my feed and my timeline. Subscribe, like, all the good stuff. Check out the website, knicksnationmedia.com. Sarah wrote an incredible article, in-depth material on some Knicks coaching candidates. So check that out. So Ime Udoka and Jay Wright apparently gone. Out. Johnny Bryant, I don't trust this report. I don't trust this report. I still think Johnny Bryant's on the list. I'm still putting Johnny Bryant on the list. Another report saying Ime Udoka out. Dan Hurley says, quote, not another summer of that. So Dan Hurley does not want to coach the New York Knicks. He's gone. This is the one that we're all talking about. Steve Popper, Ian Begley, Mark Stein. In the last 24 hours, they've all brought up the name Jason Kidd. And we're all trying to figure out ways that they can get this done. So, intriguing name. Didn't really end well last season in Dallas. If he can get that done, I wouldn't hate Jason Kidd. I would not. I would love that move. I would love that move. So, we shall see. But all we know is that Jason Kidd coached Jalen Brunson, important. Coached to an NBA Finals, important. Maybe open to a fresh start. Right? Playoff experience. Star credibility. Low key, like his temperament. I like. I think he's the perfect fit for New York. Has the respect of his of stars. Hall of Fame point guard. Right? Players listen to him. So again, it will be extremely tough to get this done. I don't think it'll be tough. But Leon Rose is going to have some magic here. And we'll see. Players coach, yeah. Players coach. TRO says players coach. It's important. It's important because one thing that this Knicks team has, like, let's be honest, like, I'm pointing the finger at Mikal. Like, Mikal all season didn't look engaged, didn't look happy. Talking about Tom Thibodeau in the media. You got to play the bench more. Like, I don't think Mikal liked Thibs. Just didn't seem like he fit here. And maybe that will rejuvenate him, I hope. Or maybe you trade him if you can't extend him. Again, that's another domino to fall. The Mikal Bridges extension, he's eligible for an extension this summer. What do the Knicks do? So here we are, 24 hours later, all the information. I don't think I missed anything. But Jason Kidd is an intriguing name for Knicks fans to keep an eye on. And I'm trying to refresh the Twitter timeline to see if I missed anything, but I don't think I missed anything. Somebody said, how about Van Gundy? Jeff Van Gundy was really highly regarded from Clippers players in LA. They were saying that he changed their defense. He changed a lot there. I respect the hell out of a Jeff Van Gundy. Obviously, he would be, you know, that would be a splash. That would be a splash, but he has a resume, right? That would be a splash, and he has a resume. Him and Thibs are close too. So, but money talks. We'll see. But in retort to Jeff, in response to that, we haven't seen from anyone, Ian Begley, you know, none of the Knicks reporters have mentioned Jeff Van Gundy. None of them. So, Big Task says Johnny Bryant is the guy. Chris says if we go to an inexperienced, then I'm all in on Johnny Bryant. Just Rover says Johnny Bryant makes the most sense and will be the cheapest to acquire. He would. He would. So Johnny Bryant's the hot name, guys, right? He's the hot name. But I'm trying to play devil's advocate. Like, you got to get that right, man. Rookie head, like a rookie. I keep going back to rookie head coach who doesn't have experience. He has experience in New York, right? That he has going for him. He has experience in New York. He's been on the Knicks bench, I mean, last year. So, but you got to get that right. And I like Johnny. I think if he was to be given that opportunity, I think he would kill it. Obviously, he's known for his little 5-out offense in Cleveland. We saw a lot of that. Their offense was humming in Cleveland, humming, right? And Johnny Bryant was a part of that. So that's what we want. Someone to maximize our offense. to their best abilities. So, but I just don't know if after you fire a Tom Thibodeau, if you can go to a rookie head coach. But again, I could be wrong. I could be wrong. So, name to watch. I love Johnny Bryant. I love him. As soon as the news came out that Tom Thibodeau got fired, 20 minutes later, goes by on Knicks Nation on Twitter, I tweeted a picture of Johnny Bryant. I love him. But I just don't know if this is direction, if that's the direction the Knicks going. Cloven says, I believe Johnny Bryant can take us to the finals next year if we are fully healthy. El Figue says, Van Gundy's is a 90s coach that has evolved to today's NBA, but I'm afraid that would be backwards. That would be a backwards move. Yeah. Yeah, look. Leon Rose has a plan, right? One thing is for certain is that Leon Rose has a plan, and you have to trust him. You don't fire someone that took you this far for the first time in 25 seasons without a plan. And it was being reported that this was like quote unquote decided before, like during the playoffs. It didn't matter. Like, obviously it didn't matter that the Knicks reached the Eastern Conference Finals because they still got fired. And there's been many cases on coaches, really highly regarded, respected coaches in all the major sports that have gotten fired, and the following year they've won a championship or they've exceeded. I mean, I just go back to the Toronto Raptors. They fired the coach of the year. And then they hired, I'm really bad with names, by the way, but let me look this up. The coach of the year for Toronto, they fired him. And then Nick Nurse gets hired, and then they win an NBA championship. Right? No, it wasn't Monty Williams. Dwayne Casey. So, there's been many cases. What I'm trying to say is there's been many cases. So, here we go. Strap in. It's going to be a hell of a summer. Ladies and gentlemen. So, that's the news. And one name to watch is obviously Jason Kidd. He's heating up. The name is heating up, guys. But one thing I want to get out there is that, Tom Thibodeau did not look. He did a lot for us, man. He did a lot. I know it's been a crazy 24 hours, no matter what side you lie on. But at the end of the day, Leon Rose has given us no other reasons to not trust him, man. And I'm putting my trust in Leon Rose that he and the front office know what the hell they're doing, right? Look at the players they brought in here. Look at the magic they've worked with the cap. I mean, look at all these savvy moves that they have done just in these last 3 seasons. Major trades, right? So I trust Leon Rose, and it's going to be really intriguing to see who the next Knicks head coach is. And I can't wait to see who that is. I really can't. Monkey says, you can tell it was decided already because they kept moving the goalpost. Yep. Keith Turner said, Size 9 says, we overpaid for everything we have. I disagree. Size 9, man. Why the negativity, man? Why you coming in here being negative? What sense is that? We didn't overpay for everything. What do we overpay for? Did we overpay for OG Anunoby, Emmanuel Quickly, and RJ Barrett? Is that an overpay? Mikal Bridges, you can say a little bit of an overpay. But in order to get that done, you had to. You had to get that done. You had to do that. Just the contract. You can always flip Mikal again. You can flip Mikal for something else and pair him with something else. I'll give you that. Mikal Bridges, we did overpay for. But that's the price of doing business with Brooklyn. That's the price of doing business with Brooklyn. You had to overpay to get him, to get the Villanova connection. Karl-Anthony Towns, Dante DiVincenzo, and Julius Randle. Julius Randle has, I believe, a team option or a player option. Dante, I mean, Cat won All-NBA, right? Great moments in the playoffs. Everyone's ragging on Cat, and I get it, but this dude is a baller, man. This dude is a tremendous talent, like tremendous talent. All-NBA player, all-star. And just to think that a new head coach would maximize him and Jalen Brunson to the best of their abilities. Remember, in the playoffs, they didn't really have a two-man game going in the playoffs. So, but we shall see. We shall see if Leon Rose in the front office decide to move off Karl-Anthony Towns this summer, or Mikal Bridges, or Josh Hart. We shall see. Corey says, what about Jeff Van Gundy? Corey, appreciate the follow, Corey. Yes, we talked about Jeff Van Gundy. I came to the conclusion, I don't think, it hasn't been reported regarding Jeff Van Gundy. I don't think they go in that direction, Corey. I haven't seen that anywhere. It could surprise me and they can hire him still, but I just haven't seen that anywhere. And I don't think that's the direction the Knicks go in. Very smart basketball mind, has had nothing but praise out in LA. He changed their defense. Really smart coach, as we know. But, you know, let's go. James says Cat has gotten his coach fired twice. Crazy stat, man. Crazy stat. Karl-Anthony Towns has gotten Tom Thibodeau fired twice. Coincidence? I don't know. But, you know, I believe in this team, guys. I believe in this team. I believe in the front office, and I believe that they will make the right decision when it's all said and done. That's all we can do is believe. You know, Leon Rose has given us no other reason not to believe. And think about it, guys. Leon Rose and Tom Thibodeau are boys. They're close, man. Imagine firing your boy. Now, you gave your boy $30 million. So you're like, look, we took care of you. We gave you that extension. Go enjoy it now. But Leon Rose and Tom Thibodeau are extremely close. Things just got there's too much tension in the locker room. This had to be done. So here we go. Now we await. Anthony says, shout out to Karl-Anthony Towns. He had an incredible season. Shout out to Karl-Anthony Towns. Getting the slings and arrows in the media. Look, defensively, that's who he is. But I think a full season of maybe Mitchell Robinson in the starting five will do him wonders. I do. And let's try it. I mean, we didn't even go to that till game 3. And I know Mitch was hurt for the majority of the season. Most of the season. But he didn't switch the lineup till game 3. He didn't expand the bench until game 3. So all of these things were reasons why the Knicks moved on. But James says you fired your boy with a $30 million bag. Yeah. Look. Stanley says, in my opinion, a good coach figures out how to get to the Eastern Conference Finals. Pacers are not better than the Knicks. Yeah. And Knicks fans, coming into the Pacers series, guys, I was like, look, revenge. We need revenge over these guys. We need to beat these guys. And we just got exposed. After that game 1, it was just downhill from there. After that game 1. And we got exposed. And all the comments in the media. Deuce McBride's comments were really eye-opening when he said we got exposed. So everyone was over it. Everyone was over Thibs. So whether you want to agree with it, whether you say, you know, this is the downfall of the Knicks, like I just don't agree. I don't. I mean, look at the guys we have on the squad. We're too talented. We are way too talented. Like I think this is just the beginning. This is not the downfall of the New York Knicks. This is not. So, somebody said, would you flip Cat and a first for Cooper Flag? It can't be done. That's 2K. I mean, Cat makes too much money. It can't be done. But yeah, let me get to your comments. Let me know in the chat, who do you guys want? Buzzer Beater, what up, man? Appreciate you in here. Game 1 intentional foul at the end of the game killed us. The OG Anunoby intentional foul over Naismith. Yeah. And the Jalen Brunson decision, too. Just hold on to the ball. That game is going to, I'm going to be haunted by that game forever. Chris Paul can kick every rock possible. Keith says we haven't won not one championship under Leon Rose. I'm just not believing right now. Keith, winning is hard, but we were at the doorstep. And what I would tell you is that Leon Rose has shown you over these last few years that winning a championship is his #1 priority. For an NBA owner to agree to eat $30 million over, the next 3 seasons and pay another coach on top of that, winning is his #1 priority, right? If he's not extending you as a player, he's trading you. Again, Mikal Bridges, someone to watch this summer, but Brunson taking less money, our captain being named the captain, Cat coming in here and having a great season, and Anunoby coming in here. Remember the January with OG Anunoby? Incredible. Incredible. Right? Hartenstein left. That could have changed everything if Hartenstein stayed. They offered Hartenstein what they could have. He left. He bounced. They had a pivot. They traded for Cat. They traded Randle out of here, who most Knicks fans wanted gone. Julius Randle has a resurgence in the playoffs, and everyone's asking him, why are you playing so well, Julius? He brings up coaching. He says Chris Finch knows how to put me in certain situations, knows how to utilize me. Now, I know he had a poor series versus the Thunder, but the Thunder will make anyone life a misery. But you just saw little jabs, like here and there, even from Randle regarding Tom Thibodeau. So, you had to pivot. It had to be done. Yeah. So, here we are. Looking for our next head coach. Is it Jason Kidd? Is it Johnny Bryant? Stay tuned. Big Taz says, I want Johnny Bryant, a young coach that will implement a good offensive system for this team. What's going on, Big Taz? Yeah, a lot of people want Johnny Bryant. I wouldn't be opposed to it. Nelly Nell says, someone will be traded this summer. If I were to give you guys some names, somebody said Hartenstein's OKC deal was better. Don't believe anyone telling you the Knicks deal was competitive. The Knicks couldn't offer Hartenstein any more money due to the CBA restrictions. That's why Hartenstein took more money. If you were in Hartenstein's shoes, you would have took more money too. He took the bag. CBS screwed us with Isaiah Hartenstein. He bounced. He left. If Isaiah Hartenstein stayed, I don't know what this Knicks team would have looked like this year. Do we make the Cat trade? But that's another subject for another day. What was I going to say? I lost my train of thought. Oh, trades. We'll touch on this in a bit. For a little bit. Who on this Knicks team do you think will get traded this summer? Who do you think on this Knicks team will get traded this summer? That is the question that I keep asking myself. We could play process of elimination. Right? We could play process of elimination. And let's be realistic. Jalen Brunson. No. OG Anunoby. No. Mikal Bridges. Maybe. But I'm going to say no. I'm going to say no. Because I think his extension of the way, I think you get that done. Karl-Anthony Towns. I think unless it's for Giannis, he's not going anywhere. You're not trading him for Kevin Durant. You're not. You're not trading him for a year of Kevin Durant. Just not. So I'm going to say no. Then you start to get to some interesting names. Josh Hart. Deuce. Mitch. Campaign's a free agent. Precious free agent. Who am I missing? So, Josh Hart, Deuce, Mitch, the bench guys. If you want to improve this bench, you have to get extremely creative. You have to pick and choose which piece does not fit this team. Which piece does not fit this current roster? Who doesn't fit? Who doesn't fit? Right? You trade the wrong piece, it could set you back for years. In order to improve the bench, unless you're really relying on the second year guys, McPorty, Daddier, McCullers, Kolek, unless you're really relying on those guys to take a leap, which I believe they will. But do you think Hart's on the team? We'll see. Deuce McBride will be traded, and I'm calling it now from Big Task. Would you trade Mikal for Kevin Durant? You got to trade someone else. I think Mikal Bridges and Josh Hart would work for Kevin Durant, actually. But again, you're taking away your depth for one guy, a great guy. It's a conversation that you need to have, and I personally wouldn't. I wouldn't. Hart, Mitch, and Precious, that's all the money we need. Kolek and Cat with some future distant picks for Giannis. Cat, Campaign, Deuce McBride, Mikal Bridges, Josh Hart. A lot of Josh Hart in the chat. Yuri says Josh Hart. Smoke and Mirror says Josh Hart. Size 9. Size 9 is coming in here and just disagreeing with everyone. Devo isn't coming back. I don't think they trade Deuce. Cat and Hart in a package for Giannis. Look, guys, I'm going to say this. If Giannis Antetokounmpo says, I want to be a New York Knick, you got to get that done. Like, he's Giannis. Like, it's Giannis, bro. Like, it's Giannis. Although, like, I don't think that's going to happen. But if he says, I want to be a Knick, and they want to appease him, you got to get that done. I don't think that's going to happen. So that's why I'm really not spending too much time on it. But you never know. You never know. Nelly Nell says, no, Josh can go back to the bench. Josh ain't going nowhere. I don't know, guys. I don't know. Sometimes you have to hurt to lose. It's going to hurt to lose someone that we're not talking about. Right? It's going to hurt to lose someone. That's for sure. So Josh Hart makes $18 million. No, this is. I'm trying to get to the contracts. Josh Hart, $20 million. Mikal, $22 million. Mitch, 50. I think Mitch is on expiring. Mitch is on a expiring deal. Mitchell Robinson's value is at its peak right now. So we'll see. We'll see. But just wanted to come on here and give you guys some updates regarding the coaching situation. Obviously, we got all summer to talk about the personnel moves, the player moves, and, you know, we can dive into that. But we have to figure out who our next head coach is going to be. And Jason Kidd, if you guys are just joining, the rumors heating up. Again, don't know how the Knicks get that done, but here we are. Hit some of your comments before I head up on out of here. Again, make sure you guys subscribe, like, all the good stuff. Hit me up on Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter. And make sure you check out the website, knicksnationmedia.com. We have an in-depth article regarding the Knicks head coaching search done by Sarah. Did an incredible job on that end. If you guys wanted to become a member, appreciate all the members in here. Shout out to Loud and Clear's up in here. Who else is in here? Jesse. I see you, Jesse. Appreciate the members in here. If I missed you, I apologize. I really do. If you guys want to become a member, just hit the join button down below. Really appreciate the support. But hit me your comments and let's go. Let's end this night on a positive. I want to see Pack Home Daddy play. Run it back and just get a starting shooting guard. We need shooting. We need makers. We need a Dante, right? We definitely need a shooter. We need a Dante. Mitch has the best contract on the team from James. Yep. When does Mitch expire? I believe Mitchell Robinson is on an expiring. I believe this is his final year. Next season is his final year. Excuse me. Let me be specific. Next season is Mitchell Robinson's final year of his contract. Yeah. 2025, 2026. Mitchell Robinson makes $12.9 million. He's on an expiring deal. So a lot of stuff to figure out. Just Knicks, what's going on? Appreciate you in here. Thank you for rocking with us. Thank you for the support. Thank you all for the support. HRM says, Hart showed me everything I needed to see versus the Warriors. What's going on, HRM? Y'all want to see Pack Home, but he got some development to do. He's so young. 19 years old, Pack Home Daddy. 19 years old. Summer League is going to be very vital for these guys. And that is a guy who you would want to blossom into like an Aaron Naismith, right? Become an elite three-point shooter and become a lockdown defender. And he's still got a lot of work to do. He's 19, man. It's crazy. It's crazy to think about these guys at 19 years old in the NBA. 18 when he got drafted. Like, super young. But I believe the future is bright. And Kevin McCullough Jr. as well. Loud and Clear says, Pete Alonso with the bomb. Appreciate you guys in the chat. Thank you for the support as always. If any news comes out, I will be right back on here. Once again, just wanted to get you guys this information. Have a good night. Subscribe, like, all the good stuff. I'm Anthony from Knicks Nation. Have a great night. Thank you for the support. Really means a lot. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.